Welcome back. Now, he famously cured Michael Flatley of post-viral fatigue and claims Bioenergy helps him heal people of their ailments. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
You travelled all the way from Galway?
Clare,
but through Galway.
Through Galway,
then on to Athlone and across here, because apparently it's the quickest route.
Absolutely.
So we're told. Anyway, tell us, what is and what goes on at the Plexus Bioenergy Clinic?
Yeah, I suppose we've been at this 20 years, and as your introduction, I suppose that's got a lot of attention because of the success we've had with Michael and that. But ultimately, when people come to our clinics, they come with an expectation. Because they're familiar with what's going on, and they come on the basis that we're working at an energetic level. And what we work at is that on the principle that each of us are made up of energy. If that energy which flows through us to keep us alive becomes imbalanced, then the body becomes ill. So what we have developed over the last 20 years are a series of techniques and a system of healthcare that ultimately reestablishes the flow of energy first, but then empowers through education the patient to take responsibility and control over their own life.
So are you, what makes you different to the modern day faith healer now from faith healers in the past, you know?
Yeah, I think that over the years there was always the perception that somebody in a community had special powers and all of that, and I think in some way, in a lot of ways, it's very disempowering. There's the expectation that some institution or some individual can take control over your life, Sybil, and you can expect maybe somebody can do something for you. And really what we have been trying to do, both Tom and I, over the last 20 years, is that we've been trying to say there is no individual out there that has magic powers or magic wands or magic potions. It is all about understanding where science has evolved. So in the past, science couldn't explain about if somebody went to see somebody and they did something over them, like pray over them or whatever, what would take place. We now know, science has shown that the power of one's intention over another person's physiology, for example, can be measured. So from our perspective, what we do is we work with an energy system which was scientifically established in the mid-80s in Yugoslavia, where we went there and we were taught these techniques, we brought them back, and what we have is a series of techniques or hand movements that we can use around the body, and then we proceed with a series of other techniques to influence the energy system of another person. And of course the great thing about us, Sybil, is that we can now teach people how to do it, which is what we have been doing, so it kind of takes away this individual's ability over another situation, you know.
So you get people coming to you with cancer or with fibromyalgia or a variety of diseases. Can I just ask, what do medical doctors think of what you do?
Over the years we've often been asked this question, and the thing about it is we see medicine as a drug-based system. That's technically what it is. And when we understand what disease is not caused just by a chemical imbalance. We as human beings are made up of much, much, much more. Now, while we train medical people and respect what they do, but we've stayed outside that, because the real key to this is educating people to take responsibility. You see, as long as we exist in the illusion that a capsule contains what we need to be healed, like when you were talking about fibromyalgia or people with cancers or people with depression, as long as we exist in the illusion that something in a capsule is going to give us back our health, then the sad reality is, what we see coming to our clinics is that people are waking up to the realization that unless we find other pathways of dealing with these problems, we're going to continue to be ill. And so in a sense, medical science, going back to the real question, medical scientists themselves have proven that the body is made up of energy. In 1979, the World Health Organization accepted the body had a composition of energy when it accepted acupuncture. So the most up-to-date quantum physics scientists are saying, yes, if we take any part of your body out, we dissect and analyze that, what we find at its deepest level is an energetic frequency, and what Professor Valerie Hunt in UCLA was saying, that it's at that level that disease begins.
So you're not actually turning to people and saying, listen, come to see us, we'll cure you of cancer.
Absolutely. And this whole word of cure, really, in my opinion, is wrong, because in a way it's sensationalizing something. What we've got to do is understand the body has the potential to heal. Our business is to reestablish the flow of energy, to unlock the healing potential within yourself. And that's ultimately what this is about. And to take away, and what we need to do is demystify this whole thing and take away such sensational words as, you have this disease, you can be cured, because it's disempowering to the individual. What we like to say to people, you have a problem. Something must have caused the problem. Have your medication and your medical treatment, but at a parallel level, we need to find out what's causing the problem, and that's where we come into play to deal with the cause of the problem.
Okay. Well, I'd heard a lot about Michael and how he works, so I wanted to make up my own mind about bioenergy. So he kindly offered to give me a session in a more relaxed environment other than the TV3 studio. So have a look at this.
Basically what happens is, when people come in, we sit them down obviously and explain, but then we stand them up and scan. So we're using our hands to scan the energy field. So Martin, around your body there's an energy field which can be photographed and measured.
How can it be photographed?
They use Killing photography. Valerie Hunt, for example, in UCLA, used equipment that was developed by NASA, the telemetry system, to measure the physiological reaction that takes place energetically, but also the energy field and this electromagnetic field that surrounds the body. When we're scanning the body, we're not looking to make a medical diagnosis. We're looking to feel where there are energy blockages or energy imbalances. And the first area we start working with is in the head area. Again, it's just to get the energy flowing. Okay.
Now this is very bizarre, but when you were scanning my body, I could feel tingling in my fingers.
Yes.
And now I just felt pressure in the centre of my head.
Yeah, so once we begin to shift, because my focus and my intent is to balance this energy out,
okay.
And what actually happens is that there is this kind of non-physical interaction that takes place between all of us at this energetic or subtle level. So once we're shifting that, there's a reaction energetically, but there's also a reaction within every system of your body and blood flow, and often the tingling that you feel in the fingers is the actual energy channels releasing, because energy channels they run adjacent to the nervous system, you know, so these, what we call the meridians, and once we begin to balance the field out, re-establish the flow, rebalance it like what I'm just beginning to do here, then from there we can people often feel like this tingling or sensation, and it's that natural reaction to the energy system beginning to open up and the energy system beginning to flow and beginning to release, Martin. For many different reasons, people have poor circulation to the feet. It might be the energy are blocked. And again, you know, we use techniques to get the energy flowing. Definitely feel that there on that left side. What does that feel like?
Okay. And I was, folks, I was actually saying nothing just for a moment, but yes, he commented on the left side, and right along the bone going to my big toe, I can feel something going on there. Have you found anything that I should be worried about?
We'll have to talk off screen about that. Only joking. No. I mean, look, the most important thing that you will always find, same for myself if somebody checks me, is just the general stress levels, energy is flowing. And again, as I said, you know, what we proceed to do then is begin to balance the energies. But the real key then is, you know, we administer a program. So when people come in, like yourself now, you know, if we were just after checking whatever, you know, what we would do then is go through a series of treatment which lasts about 45 minutes, you know, which would incorporate, you know, doing certain techniques, getting you lying on the bench, teaching you breathing and visualization, talking to you about your diet, and devising a specific program that would be specific to your situation. The real key, I feel now, for us, because there's just so many people looking for treatment, it's literally impossible to get them. The real key for us now, Martin, is to get out there and educate people to understand how their body functions. And the one message that I would give to people is, you've got to take responsibility for your own health. Don't wait around for somebody to sort it for you. You've got to decide today, do the simple things right, and you'll be amazed what you can achieve.
All right. He still hasn't told me if he found anything.
Brave man going near your feet.
Well, he was a very brave man, and I reckon when I get home, Jenny was like, could you not have worn a better pair of socks?
Yeah. And come here, how are you feeling? How's your energy now?
Well, I honestly have to say that as Michael was scanning, and I was feeling pressure around the centre of my head when he was up around my head, and it's not included in the film there, he was drawing his hands just along my right hand, and you could see the energy, like it was like the blood was going towards the tips of my fingers. You could actually see, even the cameraman, Vinny, said, I can see the redness in your fingers. And
the thing about it is,
I don't think the camera picked it up.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you know, that I suppose up until now, people, you know, were wondering what really happens. And when we began 20 years ago, we couldn't explain at that stage what we were actually doing. But thankfully, because of science and how it has evolved to understand our interaction with each other, now we can say when we were re-establishing the flow of energy or doing this kind of dragging technique as you were seeing, we now know that this helps to increase the circulation or blood flow to the tops of the fingers. And we know this through experience because people would come into our clinics, for example, with diabetes or poor circulation or arthritic type conditions, and it's not that we're taking people off medication, but the symptoms or the side effects or the problems associated with the condition could lead to poor circulation, and it helps to increase the blood flow. So it helps, and the tingling is what we call the microcirculation opening up. So, you know, and thankfully I've worked with a lot of medical people and trained a lot of them, and it's been very helpful, you know, Sybil, for us, because it gives us an appreciation where they're at as well. And, you know, we want people to realize that what we're doing is real, you know, that this is not something that we're trying to scare people away or take people off medication. What we're doing is real, it works, and we've proven that over the last 20 years.
You insist that I don't have a gift.
Yes.
You said several times during that piece, when we were recording that earlier, anybody can do this.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's important, you know, because I would get, you know, parents coming into our clinics. They might have a child, for example, with ADD, ADHD, or they might have a child with asthma, or they might have a child with just colic, for example. And we would say, okay, we're going to get the energy flowing. To help the digestive system, this is what you can do at home. Maybe a parent can do a little bit of abdominal massage. A lot of the time when people come into our clinics with members of a family who might have a serious condition, maybe it's depression, maybe it's a baby with some, or a child with some problem, most of the time these people feel powerless. What can I do? I'm sitting here, I'm watching my child, or I'm watching my father or my daughter or something, and they're suffering from such, and I feel helpless, I'm dependent upon an institution. What we're saying is we want to take that helplessness away. We want to teach people when they come into our clinics, you know, how it is that they can help a member of their family to cope with a situation. You know, if it's just literally a pain in their shoulder or a pain in their knee, is it something that they can do? You know, and it's very valuable for people in that respect, that it becomes family medicine.
Can I ask a few questions? First of all, if someone comes to you and they don't believe,
yes,
right, does it still work?
Absolutely, because, you know, we often talk about this in the context of children. You know, so if I get a month-old baby, Sybil, into the clinic that has what we talked about, maybe respiratory or colic or something like that.
Well, they're not open to the suggestion.
But how do you know that it's fixed, I suppose, if they're not?
Well, the great thing about it is that we get the feedback from the patients, or from the parents all the time. And
do people come and say, you cured me?
Well,
you've cured me of, not of cancer, presumably, but...
Again, Sybil, we just got to be very careful about that word cure, because it's like you're saying to people, well, you have a disease that's not curable. And what I'm saying to people is, no matter what type of health problem you have, as long as we keep running here and there and everywhere to find a cure for it, we're ignoring the potential we have to deal with it right now.
So what are people again saying? You put me in a positive frame of mind, I can better deal with my illness.
What people are saying is that as a result of re-establishing the flow of energy, as a result of taking responsibility, i.e. looking at their diet, taking time to relax, doing some visualization, focusing internally on how it is that they influence their own biology or physiology, as a result of taking that, to assist the re-establishment of the flow of energy that we've done, that is what unlocks the ability to heal. Because as I was saying to Martin and Vinny earlier, if you don't have the ability to heal, I can't give it to you. It is a natural ability that we all have, but we're just so disempowered, you know, we're just so disconnected from the reality of what's going on. And what I would like to say to people is that no matter what the situation is, that we can think, and we've got to start thinking positively. We can breathe, learn to breathe properly. And, you know, it's often now what science is showing, that it's often the simple little changes in life that make the difference. And, you know, it might be just to relieve pain. It might be just person will sleep better. Because I had a lady coming into my clinic recently with a child who has ADHD, for example, and the child couldn't sleep. Now, to a family, that's huge. You know, the mother's up all night or whatever the case may be. We do a little bit of energy work. We help to relax the body. We show the mother how to do something, and suddenly the child is sleeping. Because for whatever reason, well, the intent, the focus, working at that level is creating a change. But the other thing is, it doesn't work for everybody, you know, and that's not the
I think it's all about creating positive feelings within people, is what you're saying, which will give you a more positive outlook and will help with your...
Well, it's built around energy, but surely there isn't such a thing as good energy and bad energy. It's just the misuse of energy.
That's it. We were saying that earlier, and the key is we mustn't negate the value of re-establishing the flow of energy, because often what causes the blockage of this energy is if we go through shock, trauma or stress in our lives, what we now know is that the energy system freezes. So you can imagine an iceberg. You know, we see at the top, we see the tip of the iceberg, but underneath there's this turbulent state that has gone on. So the system freezes. So what we know is now that we can re-establish the flow of energy, in some way defrosts or disconnects people energy for energetic experience. But going back to your point with regard to me, I believe energy is energy. It has potential, and it's how we use it. You know, and if we use it in the right way, we can benefit. If we use it in the wrong way, we can benefit. And that's okay.
Yourself, you cured Michael Flatley.
Yeah, well,
we never even discussed that.
Well, I think Michael has seen other, Michael Flatley, Nat Malloy, other such people have been to visit.
Yeah, I mean, over the 20 years we've been seeing many people, and it was great that we were able to help Michael. You know, he's been fantastic for us now as well. I mean, he's helped people to realise that there is something that can be done for them.
Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
My
so much
pleasure.
for coming on.